Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 16 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. First of all, sorry that I missed an upload yesterday. I was basically out of the house all day and didn't have time to record an episode before or after, but in order to make that up to you guys, I'm going to be uploading this video, which is earlier in the morning, and then another video later tonight, so that you guys get 2 episodes of Road to Ranked today to make up for that one lost episode. I am really doing my best to keep it up once again with the daily content, and I don't want to break that, so we'll continue to do my best, and thank you for understanding and continuing to watch my content. In addition, Jay Witz and I actually worked on a really fun collaboration on his channel, which I'll link in the description below. It's basically us talking about Sun and Moon potential mega evolutions that we'd like to see, and I offered some competitive insight in terms of what kind of stat increases I wanted and specific abilities. So that was a lot of fun, and if you're from Jay Wich's channel, there are about like 1,000 new subscribers from just the last day. Definitely welcome. Hope you guys enjoy the ride. I'll do my best to keep you guys entertained and help you learn about competitive Pokemon in VGC. With that being said, let's just get started with today's episode. We've been featuring Enosh's team obviously for the last couple of days, and it's been working out really nicely. I think I've definitely learned a lot from the first couple of episodes, and currently we are just sitting under the 1800. So if we get 2 wins today, it might push us over the 1800 mark, but we'll see. I'm probably using it for just a couple more episodes, and then we'll switch to a brand new team. I'm going to find Azusa from Japan with a rating of 1697 to kick off today's episode. And as always, if you enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. Would really appreciate it. Azusa here is rocking a team of Talonflame, Rayquaza, Zapdos, Kyogre, Landorus, and Ferrothorn. So nothing too surprising, although Talonflame on this team composition is kind of interesting, especially when there's also Zapdos. I think the thing that sticks out to me the most is that there are 4 Ice-type weak Pokemon on my opponent's team. Or excuse me, 3, Talonflame not being obviously weak to it, but still taking neutral damage because of the fire typing. So the reason why that's not as bad is because Mega Rayquaza's ability allows you to get rid of the flying type weakness. So Ice, it doesn't do nearly as much damage. But in terms of team comp, I feel like Ferrothorn here, as it really feels like the trend for all the Kyogre Rayquaza teams, is really good, especially if I can eliminate the Rayquaza, which might have a potential fire type attack. Given that so many of my opponent's Pokemon are weak to Ice, I actually really like just leading Weavile right away to threaten with Icicle Crash or Fake Out. Crest actually makes sense here. I'm definitely going to need Groudon though for the Ferrothorn on my opponent's team. We do have kind of like a Ferrothorn war here. Kangaskhan's kind of tempting because of Fake Out and Power Up Punch. But I really need to figure out what to lead with. I mean, Weavile Crest is honestly kind of a safe lead here as well. Could go Weavile Crest. No, but then I need Ferrothorn and Rayquaza. So let's go Weavile, Ferrothorn, Rayquaza, Groudon. The reason why I'm going with Weavile Ferrothorn here is if my opponent doesn't lead with Talonflame or Rayquaza, then immediately put on offensive pressure with Gyro Ball and Power Whip, and I can Leech Seed as well. And of course I get the switch in. The goal of this game is really to get him to Mega Evolve Rayquaza as well, so then my Groudon can come in. He's going to lead with the Talonflame and the Landers here against my Weavile and my Ferrothorn. So probably a more ideal lead for my opponent here because he gets the Intimidate off. Against both of my Pokemon, obviously. So yeah, Crest would have been something nice to have here, but obviously I didn't bring it. But I think this first turn I'm going to go straight for the Icicle Crash onto the Landorus, and I'll switch out into Rayquaza. Now, this might not be the best play, especially if he's Scarf Landorus. That's the one thing I'm really concerned about. If he's not Scarf Landorus, then I can dunk him with an Icicle Crash, and he's forced to switch out. Talonflame here most likely won't Flare Blitz the Ferrothorn, probably going for a Brave Bird or a Tailwind, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, the goal of the game is to really conserve Ferrothorn. So let's see what Landorus goes for here. And he does just launch a Brave Bird from the Talonflame, so it looks like it's going to be a target onto the Weavile. Oh, no, he actually targets down the Ferrothorn slot. But let's see if Landorus is Scarfed here. It's not, and I connect with Icicle Crash. That's good. Is he Sashed in? Because if he is, then he can obviously survive this. Yeah, looks like he is. And so he's going to U-turn out here. Oh, but he actually flinches. That's really helpful for me and a little bit unfortunate for my opponent. But I will take that. Let's see. Now I can go for the Feint to knock that out. And I'm just going to Mega Evolve and I think Waterfall here. Yeah, that flinch was really helpful because the Landorus was probably either going to go for like a Rock Slide, an Earthquake, or a U-turn. Now my Weavile still has its Focus Sash and I outspeed, so Definitely a little bit fortunate there. It's a nice Brave Bird target there onto the Ferrothorn, just predicting that Ferrothorn's not going to stay in and take a Flare Blitz. I'm okay with that though. Once I Mega Evolve, I think I should be able to survive the Brave Bird. We'll see if he goes for something like a Quick Guard. I mean, if he Quick Guards, then, you know, Feint obviously just breaks that. And since he's staying in here, that means Landorus should definitely be going down, even if he protects, because Feint obviously breaks Protect. Yep, so he does go for the Protect, but because I did go for the Feint, that's Feinted Landorus. So Weavile's Feint coming out, fast priority, knocking out Landorus. Really good move to break Protects or finish out Pokemon with Focus Sash. You know, this being a perfect example. And he does actually just go for another Brave Bird. I don't think this will knock me out since Rayquaza is bulkier, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, he actually targets down Weavile. Gets a crit there. That's fine. You know, Weavile is so far anyway, it would have brought me down to its Sash. And now I am able to pick up the knockout here onto Talonflame with a Waterfall. So it is a 2-4 game in my favor now. However, my opponent's most likely going to have Rayquaza and Kyogre in the back. So this is definitely still far from over, especially because he'll probably have Extreme Speed with the Rayquaza. Although now, an interesting play I can make, maybe a fail-safe play actually, is just going for the Feint Draco Meteor. Because I outspeed since I've already Mega Evolved. And yeah, that actually might just be game there. If he's not Assault Vest, and if I hit Draco Meteor. Because right now, Weavile and Rayquaza are both faster, and that's why Feint's a really cool move, because since I've Mega Evolved before Rayquaza, I have the speed advantage. He's going to set up Primordial Sea, but you know, that's actually fine for my opponent. Basically, Rain's never actually going to be up for this game until Rayquaza goes down, because of the fact that Airlock will always be around, and then when he Mega Evolves, he'll just get rid of the Rain. And of course, Airlock basically negates the Rain, or ignores it. So actually, yeah, I'm just going to go for the Feint Draco play here. And there's not much you can do to stop it, because Feint's priority is above Extreme Speeds, I believe. Even if not, then I just get the Draco off against Rayquaza, bring it down to maybe its Sash, and I have Groudon, Ferrothorn in the back. Although it will be a close finish if he does have a Fire-type attack on Rayquaza. I think if he doesn't have a Fire-type attack, then this game is already basically effectively over. And he's not Mega Evolving, which is smart, but that does mean I will be able to do more damage. So, Feint and Draco connect. Well, let's see if he's Assault Vest or not. That's the one thing that can save him right now. Nope, he's not. So, Rayquaza just goes down, Draco Meteor connects, and that should be game. That Landorus flinch at the beginning was definitely fortunate. I'm not sure if I really needed that, as he actually goes for an Origin Pulse, and Rayquaza avoids it to add insult to injury. But I feel like, yeah, I mean, him letting me get that Icicle Crash off turn 1 was huge, and then not targeting out Rayquaza with Brave Bird to potentially knock it out was also a big deal. So I can just bring Groudon, and he can't really touch me. Otherwise, I was surprised that my opponent didn't bring Ferrothorn, since I thought that could have given me some trouble, but that's fine, since you know, I had the strategies to deal with it. And I feel like just Talonflame Landorus, it was a really strong lead in terms of offensive presence, but I was able to just get enough damage off. And obviously that turn where he didn't expect the Feint was big too. Like if he switched out there, maybe conserving Landorus would have been really helpful for the Intimidate potentially, but you know, not the case there. So now I can just double onto Kyogre, and that's going to be a game. Yep, and my opponent's just going to forfeit. So, pretty nice win in the first game of today's episode. Nothing too shocking. Lucky flinch there, really being the maybe one RNG related kind of factor, but given that it was like a 3-1 victory, like I said, I'm not sure if it was absolutely necessary because I did have the Sash on Weavile. Although, like I said, my opponent could have been going for a Rock Slide, which definitely could have made my job a little bit more difficult. But I do think I had enough tools with Weavile, Groudon, and Ferrothorn to win the game. But great game to my opponent there, and we're just going to look for a next game that does put us to 1790. My goal with this team was to reach the 1800, so we're getting pretty darn close. So that's going to be it for the first game of today's episode as we look for the second game now. Otherwise, I would say that I feel like I just had a pretty good team matchup. I mean, once again, it's weird, right, to say that Rayquaza Groudon has an optimal team matchup against a Ray Ogre team. But the Ferrothorn's a big deal. Ferrothorn's just such a big win condition, and it makes facing Kyogre Rayquaza teams so much easier because they typically don't have many fire-type attacks, so they have to rely on like those 1 or 2 techs, and I'm not sure if my opponent really had those in the end. We're going to find a Mirror from the Netherlands with a rating of 1703 for our next opponent of the day, rocking a dual primal team. 6 same Pokemon that PokeAlex used to win UK Nationals: Kyogre, Groudon, Kangaskhan, Salamence, Cress, and Thundurus. So you have the dual primal option, the dual mega option, and then 2 of the best support Pokemon historically and currently in the format in Cresselia and Thundurus. So let's see what I want to lead with. Typically, Ferrothorn's also a big win condition in this matchup because of the fact that it just, can beat everything bar the Groudon. And fast Groudon is super helpful here as well. The Thundurus is probably the thing that scares me the most, to be quite honest. Definitely like Weavile here as a lead. I think Cress is honestly really tempting here. Let's see, my opponent leads Kang Thundurus though. Assume I get Icicle Crash, Icy Wind. Don't think I'm actually going to bring Kangaskhan in this matchup because he gets intimidated and there's too much speed control and an opposing Kangaskhan on my opponent's team. And that does give me, of course, the Mega Rayquaza option. I just love Weavile, Rayquaza, Groudon, Ferrothorn. Like, that's such a strong combination, and choosing to forego one of those for Cress is really difficult. Weavile Cress is honestly a really consistent lead here. Maybe it's finally time to give Cress its time to shine. Weavile, Cress. No, I feel like Ferro's just so good, though. I'm actually going to go Weavile, Groudon. And then Ferrothorn in the back. Yeah, I don't know. Just Cress is good, but Ferrothorn's so good. Like, especially against teams where it's like eliminate this one Pokemon and then it really just has a field day. I might regret this, but it's the best of one, still learning with the team, so we'll see. And win here might put us over the 1800s, which is also exciting, as we see the Salaman's Groudon lead. Interesting. Now, this will come down to what kind of Groudon he is, because my play turn 1 is actually to go straight for an Icicle Crash onto Salamence and just Earth Power. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to go for. However, the scary thing is because I don't know what kind of Groudon set my opponent's running. Like, he could be Precipice Blades, he could be Max Speed Earth Power, like special variant as well. And if I lose my Groudon to his, that would be really bad. My Groudon does go for the Primal first, but, we could Speed Tie, obviously. And on those teams, like, you either run the Max Speed variant or you run a bulkier variant that, can take advantage of Tailwind and Trick Room, since typically Mence carries Tailwind and then, can carry Trick Room as well. He might protect Mence, but he can't knock out Weavile, so I'm just going to Icicle Crash and Earth Power, honestly. Seeing Mence here over Kangaskhan is also really good. I'd much rather face the Mence. And he actually switches out Groudon, which is fine, because that's just a free Earth Power in that slot. Probably Kyogre. Yep, gonna be Kyogre coming in here. And the question is, what does Mence do? If Mence doesn't go for the Protect play, then I should just pick up a Knockout and get a lot of damage into Kyogre. So that's ideal, but I think you kind of have to expect the Protect coming out from Mence right now. So great switching by my opponent there. It's smart to not get careless with the Groudon. If I eliminated Groudon there, that actually would have just been like game, because then Ferrothorn just seals up the stuff. But he is going to be smart and protect with Salamence here. So good play by my opponent. Going to get an Earth Power. A special defense drop would actually be really huge because I am running Thunderbolt as well. I expect this to do only 25-30%-ish. Yeah, right around the money there. Let's see. So my opponent had... I should be taking notes more often, but Salamence, Kyogre, Groudon. So the last one is going to be Cress or Thundurus. Meaning I can safely Icicle Crash into Lament slot, honestly. Which might switch out into Groudon, but if you switch out into Groudon, then you're forced to... Yeah, that's not really a good idea. So I'm going to take this time to switch out into Ferrothorn. Kyogre's probably going to get a strong attack off here. He's going to be smart with Draw Salamence. So we're going to see the 4th Pokemon, I think. Yep, going to be Thundurus, though, which is perfect because Weavile just, is such a good answer against both Thundurus and Salamence. So sure, Kyogre gets an attack off here, a Water Spout or an Origin Pulse, but if Icicle Crash connects, that's going to do a lot of damage to Thundurus. And it does connect. Perfect. Let's see how much this does. 75%? Maybe bring it down to its sash if it's not bulky. Right around 75% actually. Nice. Glad I know my calcs decently well. So yeah, it's going to eat its Citrus Berry, so he is going to go for the Origin Pulse. Avoid on Weavile would have been so nice there, but obviously I can't complain. So he's going to bring me down to my sash. It gets a crit there on Ferrothorn, which is actually a little bit annoying since Ferrothorn needs all the health it can have, especially when dealing against something like Kyogre. But this puts my opponent in a pretty awkward position because what I can do is just Icicle Crash Thundurus. I feel like he's not going to let me get a Power Whip off. Like, you probably switch out here into Mence. And maybe Thunder Wave. One cool play I can make is actually, I guess, switch out into Groudon. Yeah, I actually really like that idea. I'm actually going to go for the Leech Seed onto Kyogre. What the Groudon switching means is like he can't use any fire, water type attacks. Although he's probably gonna Ice Beam here, so maybe that wasn't the smartest ideas. But I want to conserve the Weavile because I know my opponent's got Mence in the back, and Weavile's even Icicle Crash even at -1 is a knockout most of the times, I believe, if not all the times. And he actually does withdraw Kyogre, which is good. So I'm expecting to see Mence here. Nope, it's actually Groudon though, which I'm also okay with because Thundurus can't do anything against either of my Pokemon here, as he does Thunder Wave into Groudon. And Leech Seed connects, meaning that Ferrothorn will be able to almost get all the way back up to full health, which is what I was hoping for. So that's good. However, this game is still really kind of dicey and tricky because one turn is really what makes the difference. Like if you get careless, especially if Thundurus has HP Water, which is what I'm really scared of right now. That's my main concern. I could pull the double protect play here, which is actually what I think I'm going to do. Let's see, we saw Thunder Wave. I mean, typically it's like Taunt, Thunderbolt, Protect. I hate that I have to guess whether he has HP Water or not. Like, the random HP Waters are so scary, honestly. I really want to just double Protect here, I think. Because if he switches out into Kyogre, then Ferrothorn, like, he's forced to kind of stay in right now with Groudon. Yep, but because now he switches out, Ferrothorn has a better time. Vent's coming in. Okay. So given that he didn't go for the switch into Kyogre or go for an HP Water play, that indicates to me, you know, he's not rocking HP Water on Thundurus. Most likely, so that does give me some leeway. Although you could have a Fire type attack on Salamence as well, which is scary. So I could have Eruption there, but, you know, obviously didn't want to take that risk. He does reveal the Taunt on Ferrothorn as well. Okay, so Thunder Wave Taunt definitely has Thunderbolt, so Protect or HP as the last one. Now I wonder if he's going to switch out into Kyogre. I'm going to Eruption and... Should I just Gyro Ball Immense? Sure. I think my opponent might switch out here. Yeah, I might have played a little careless here, but he actually does withdraw Immense. Is it going to be Kyogre coming in? That'd be a really good play. If he actually goes for HP Water on Groudon now, that would make me so sad. Either way, that was an excellent play by my opponent. I don't get anything out of this turn. Okay, no, he just taunts. Which I'm okay with because next turn I can Protect Power Whip. But, you know, obviously I don't do anything here, so that was a very fantastically played turn by my opponent. And it has been 6 minutes in this game, and none of us have knocked out a Pokemon yet. Which sounds about right. But now he's in an awkward position because he can't do very much. Like, if you... your best play here is to protect Kyogre, I think. And maybe switch out. I'm trying to think, how badly do I need Rayquaza in this matchup? I would like it. He could switch back out. So the question is, I want to protect Groudon because he could protect Kyogre. Yeah, I think I'm going to go out to Rayquaza here. And Power Whip. This is a big turn here. He could protect like Thunder Wave Groudon, but you know, you don't get anything off that. Well, I mean, you do get to paralyze Rayquaza, which is actually a big deal. But let's see. Does Kyogre protect? Does it switch out? He actually does pull out the switch out play. Good play. Back out into Mence or Groudon. Gonna be Mence, okay. So my opponent's definitely getting the upper hand with these switches. Thunder Wave into the Ferrothorn slot, which is actually good because that increases Gyro Ball's power. Power Whip does connect. It's going to do minimal damage, but any damage is good damage. That's not good damage. Well, Ferrothorn has healed all the way back up to full HP now. Okay, so I've got the Assault Vest. I can Mega Evolve. I think I'm actually going to go straight for the Draco onto Mence. And the Leech Seed. I can't, I'm taunted. Shoot. I guess I'll just Gyro Ball here. He could Thunder Wave Rayquaza, but I think here if you're Mence, you probably want to attack. And if you protect, I mean that's fine. You get a Thunder Wave off Rayquaza, but you're already faster anyway. I really would like to dunk the Salamence. He also has Mega Evolve now, which is good because it means he cannot intimidate me any longer. No, maybe I shouldn't have. Let's see. My opponent's been playing this very well. Good, he doesn't protect, so he does go for the T-Wave. If I can attack through a full paralysis and connect with Draco Meteor, that would be superb. Oh, he could also go for a fire type attack here. Oh, but he goes for a sub, an even better move there. Nicely done. So I get the Draco off, but I thought he was going to be Hyper Voice, Double Edge, you know, the Tailwind route. So that's going to break the sub, but I am at -2 special attack now. Another Draco probably still knocks it out. And Gyro Ball is obviously going to do minimal damage to Thundurus here. Never mind, I get a crit. That's actually a really big deal. And a little bit unfortunate for my opponent. You know, I wouldn't have mind. Like, the thing is that crit does allow my opponent to now get a free switch in into. I'm not really even sure who you switch into here. Taunt does wear off. I was trying to kind of knock out Ment and leave Thundurus around because Thundurus can't do anything against Groudon, and having that as a pivot is really important. But he is just going to bring in Groudon. But now you can just Double Edge Eruption. This is tricky. And there are only 5 minutes left in the game, too. I feel like this is a game where I should have just predicted the switches a little bit better, because I definitely have the matchup in my advantage. I'm gonna go for the Draco here onto Mence again. And I think I'm gonna sack the Weavile. Because if I sack Weavile, then I can bring in my Groudon and Earth Power into the Groudon slot. Ferrothorn then wins against Salamence and Kyogre. Whereas, like, if I give out Ferrothorn right now, yeah, I don't want to give up Ferrothorn. Weavile's nice. I mean, for Icicle Crush, but that's the only purpose it serves. So I suspect a Double Edge and an Eruption, which I might be able to survive since I'm Assault Vest. If double knockout would be rough, though. Okay, he actually protects Groudon. That's perfect. I'm not targeting you, dude. What does Mence do? Goes for another sub. I don't mind that because now I have Fake Out pressure. Unfortunately, no full paralysis there. I don't really know what my opponent was trying to accomplish there. Like, you know Ferrothorn's either going to protect or switch out, so. And Rayquaza can't really do much against your Groudon. But I'll take that any day. And with only 4 minutes left, this is getting really close. I think I just want to Fake Out Groudon here. And Dragon Ascent into Salamence. But I hate playing with the 25% paralysis chance, because full para would really screw me over. Not really, I guess. Like, wouldn't be the end of the world. But if I knock out Mence, then Kyogre comes in. He can't even use Fire-type attacks anymore, and then Ferrothorn seals up the deal. So, I think I'm going to just Dragon Ascent Salamence. Fake Out Groudon. Does that make sense? Yeah. Although he might get a Hyper Voice off. He could protect Mence here as well. Oh wow, he actually switches out Mence. That's even better for me. Don't really know what my opponent's doing at this point. Maybe hoping for an Icicle Crash, but that might just seal up the game for me if I don't get full paralyzed here. Oh, man, but the full paralysis chance is so. I can see it happening. Oh wow, that's a pleasant surprise. So Dragon Ascent comes out. That might just knock out Kyogre. We'll see. Comes close. Doesn't actually pick up the knockout. But that's fine, because. Let's see. I can actually Waterfall now into Groudon. And the rain's up too. Don't think a knockoff would knock out Kyogre. Could also feint Extreme Speed. It's kind of tempting. Actually, that's very tempting. Is that the better play, though? Groudon can't really do much, right? I think I'm actually going to go Waterfall. Knock off onto Kyogre. Yeah, sure. Okay, no Protect from either. Oh, wow. Knockoff actually picked the knockout. I was just expecting Kyogre to be so bulky. That should be game, then. But he does have Rock Slide, but unfortunately, the double avoid. I mean, he definitely needed to connect Rayquaza there to have a shot at winning, but that's going to seal up the game, I think. So, that's really unfortunate. I do feel a little bit bad. I mean, RNG's been kind of in my favor with the crit and the Rock Slide, but I'm not sure if, like, they were crucial. Although Rock Slide was a game changer here, because if you get that Rock Slide off, you knock out Weavile and you flinch Rayquaza. And if Rayquaza doesn't get the attack off, although timer is still a thing, and I think actually I'd just win off timer at this point, although I don't need it. So I'm gonna just Icicle Crash into Mence. And maybe I should extreme speed actually to avoid the chance of him flinching. Or I could feint extreme speed. No, but then that gives him the opportunity a full para. Yeah, he's gonna protect Mence, which I think is the best play. No full para though. So yeah, I've been getting kind of fortunate with those as well. And another extreme speed will knock out Groudon at this point. He's going to be smart, go for another rock slide. Rayquaza just not going to want to get hit by these rocks. And at this point, I do just win the game off timer. I think if I played it out, I'd still end up winning because I can just bring in Groudon and attack. But, you know, I do have the guaranteed victory here. So, I'm just going to take that, obviously, because even if I played it out, like, there's nothing, only one more turn in the game would happen. So it's like, you can play out that turn and leave it to chance. Even if what could happen? I mean, I bring in Groudon here, yeah. And then all I do is just extreme speed, Thunderbolt, Salamence. So, I think I've definitely been a little bit more fortunate in this game because of the fact that nothing crazy has happened RNG-wise. And I don't know how fast this Groudon is. I could get fully paralyzed here, so the battle time is going to end in 20 seconds. So this game is actually going to go down to timer. Really intense game. I mean, there were so many switch outs all the time. And timer is obviously a win condition. You need to play knowing accordingly. And that's why I was confused by my opponent's plays, because he knew the timer was running down, but he was still making such passive plays, like staying in or switching out and not going for attacks when I think he needed to. But of course, RNG was definitely on my side a fair amount in this match. So I feel like I'd still win this one because I can just extreme speed Thunderbolt, but it's not going to play out since the timer is going to run out. So that is going to be the game. And like I said, like in that kind of position where there's one last turn and you know you're going to win the game, you can either just wait it out, not wanting to take the risk, because there I think I still win the game. Extreme speed Thunderbolt might actually just pick up a double knockout there, but if I get fully paralyzed and if he's max speed, which I haven't found out yet, then he could actually steal the game away from me, because then he'd actually end up winning on timer the next turn. Whereas, if timer weren't a factor there, I think Rayquaza, as long as it avoids getting fully paralyzed multiple turns, we'll be able to win the game. But I was definitely pretty fortunate there. I didn't get fully paralyzed at all with Rayquaza, and it was able to get all the attacks I needed it to. But shout out to my opponent. He played a really excellently game, and RNG, like I said, was definitely my favorite there. Crit onto Thundurus, and then dodging the rock slide there at the end was a big deal as well. So, I do feel a little bit bad about that, but it is what it is. I do feel like my opponent had the upper hand the most of the time, but then at the end, just made some switches that I wasn't really so sure about. But that is going to be it for this episode. I think that might actually put us in the 1800s. Yeah, it does. Sweet. So 1803 now, which is the goal I had for this team, but I am going to bring you guys another episode later tonight, so we'll see whether I can keep on going or whether we'll fall back below the 1800s. But that is going to be it for this episode. Glad that we reached that goal. Really have a fun time, or have had a fun time with this team so far. Looking forward to using it a little bit more, and once again, thank you to Enosh for letting me to use this team. It's going to be it for this episode. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.